Okay, so a few of you guys asked me a couple weeks ago how'd I get into travel CNA. I'm literally going to start from the bottom, the obvious stuff. So first I got my license. Then I found a nursing home and I literally got hired at a nursing home like maybe a few days to a week latest after I got my license. I worked at the nursing home for about a year because you do have to have some experience. And then I started to apply to hospitals here in Houston. The application for hospitals are extremely precise. They are gonna take you so long, and if you got ADHD like me, it's gonna take you. I ain't get through. I never got through the application if I'm being honest with you. But working at the nursing home, I met a lot of women who had a lot of experience already, and I would just talk to them. I would ask them, how long they've been doing it, and I will also have them teach me ways. Like I would just work with them, and they would teach me ways, and they would just literally like CNAs always say, um, work smarter, not harder. Like that is literally what all CNAs say. Work smarter, not harder. The OG CNAs always say that. Work smarter, not harder. So I had met this one lady. Her name was Miss Lisa, and Miss Lisa had told me that she was doing the process to get hired for a hospital. So I was like, oh, I've been trying to get into a hospital for a little bit of time. So she had ended up giving me the information, and she told me like call her. Don't just call her one time, call her multiple times and text her. So I ended up calling her like one time and I text messaged her. Maybe I called her like two times and I had text messaged her. And the lady had no, I had seen Miss Lisa maybe like a couple days later at working. Miss Lisa was like, "Yeah, I'm finishing my process. I'm about to start orientation there." So I had no, she had said to me, she was like, "Yeah, did you call her?" I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "You need to be calling her like more than once." So after I had a conversation with Miss Lisa, I had went and called her again, and lo and behold, the lady ended up messaging me back and was like, "Hey, how long you been working, how much experience you have." So I told her that I was a CNA and I've been working at a nursing home. She was like, "Okay, cool, that's good enough. You have to have some type of experience." Okay. So I work through kind of like a third party agency who works with the hospital. So whenever I go to that hospital, they be like, I'm not gonna say like the names of everything. They be like, "Oh, you work with so and so? Are you working through so and so?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they be like, "Oh, okay, I see. Like that's why your account is set up the way it is, or that's why you don't have access to certain things." Through the third party agency, they offer travel assignments. Now, a lot of the time, hospitals be connected to different hospitals all over the U.S. So, kind of like if you get into one, I don't want to say you get into all, but that's kind of how it worked for me. I really think that it was God by my side because I prayed a lot. Like, I really want to work in a hospital. I really want to work at a hospital. And literally, like, I started in the hospital December the 1st. It literally took me, they gave us 30 days to finish our, like, onboarding process. It took me 30 days to finish the onboarding process because it was just that much information that you had to provide for them. Unless you've already unless you already have like all this information like on hand, but a lot of the stuff I had to figure out and find. So, excuse me, I ended up literally starting at the hospital December the 1st, 2024. So, y'all, I'm still pretty fresh. And I probably worked maybe like 2 to 3 weeks at the hospital, and then I got offered a travel assignment, and I was so geeked. Like, I was so geeked. So I took that job, took that hospital job. No, I obviously took the hospital job, but I took the travel assignment, and I had gotten something really close to home so that I didn't have to be gone for 13 weeks. I ended up going to a nearby city, which is Austin, and all they required of me was 312s, and then I could go home. And I was working overnight, so I was working PM to AM. Um, I ended up ending the assignment early just because, like, it was honestly too much for me. It was way too much for me to handle. I don't know if it was the hospital because I thought the hospital was better than the hospital that I work at currently. Um, but I haven't been back to the hospital I worked at since the travel assignment. I do have some shifts coming up next week in their AM to PM. So it's 7A to 7P. Instead of an overnight, it's a day shift. I'm going to see how I like the day shift better because when I first started in the CNA, I started working overnights. I think I got trained on day shift, but I mainly worked overnights, and overnights are easy. But then I decided, like, a lot of people kept telling me, like, oh, you lose years off your life working overnight, and I don't like that. That don't sit with me. And I also like my day. I like being home at night. So if I really need extra money, then I'll work overnight. But I mainly try to work morning. So when I started to work like different shifts, at CNA or the nursing home, because I still work at that same nursing home. It's literally been over a year. It's probably been like a year and a half at this point. But I started to work different shifts. So then I started doing 2 to 10, and I was like, oh, okay, 2 to 10 is cool. So like it's not bad at all. I could do 2 to 10, and then 2 to 10. I started after 2 to 10. They offered me a 6 to 2, so I took it, and I'm okay. The only thing about 6 to 2, the morning shift is it's just hard for me to get up. The morning shifts go by so quick. Like 6 to 2 go by like that because you always have work to do. As soon as you get there in the morning, you start your changing. Most of the time, you got to do showers. We have shower techs, so all I have to do is get them ready and take them to the shower room, or the tech comes and get them from my room, from their rooms, excuse me. But it's easy. Before you know it, you out at 2 and you got the whole day. And I love that. Like, you got the whole, it's like kind of going to school again. It reminds me of, when you went to like grade school or high school, you went at like 7 and you was out by like 2 or 3. I love that because I've been working in dental, and I still work in dental. I actually had an assignment today. Um, but I normally work in dental 8 to 5, so I'm like usually at work all day till 5 or 6, and by that time, I don't want to say the night over, but it's just so much of my day is already gone. Important phone calls I need to make are just, it's over. Like, you gotta try again tomorrow, and I did not really enjoy that. So I love the flexibility of being a CNA. But I love the money in dental way more. I enjoy dental overall way more. But nursing is cool. You really have to have a compassionate and caring heart to work in nursing, the nursing field. Like CNA nursing, you really have to have a heart of love because these people legit depend on you. Like, I was watching this one lady, her name is Candy Yams on here, and she was like, these people's lives are literally in your hand. Like, I remember when I was working at the hospital, this one man, I went in his room and he was like, I'm like, oh my God, he literally can't breathe. Let me go get the nurse. So I ran and got the nurse, and then I went to another room. Another patient is literally having a heart attack. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, let me go get the nurse. So it can get really crazy and really scary, but you really have to have a heart of love. And I don't like to do stuff just for the money, even though I love the money. But I also want to make a difference in these people's heart and not just be messing around. So that's what I would say. That's my little spiel. And I'm also going to make a part 2 about my experience working in the hospital and why I quit my travel assignment. So stay tuned, y'all.